Howdy. So, let's start with Amazon. I've been working at Amazon for a little over a year and a half now. It's my third time working at Amazon. Physically, I could not keep up with the work, and so I quit. It wasn't Amazon's fault, though. It was mine. I was just eating very poorly, and I had no energy, and my body was broken. I mean, I had kidney failure. I still do, but it's in a much better, more manageable situation than it used to be. I've lost about 150 pounds since, I want to say, I think I started losing weight around October 2020, 2021, somewhere in that area. And so since then, I've lost 150 pounds. I went from 330 to 180. And so now I'm able to do a lot of physical stuff. And so I like doing the physical stuff because I couldn't do it for a long time. I had a hard time walking up a flight of stairs. Now I can do fingertip push-ups. I can walk 13 miles just for no reason. That's a half marathon, roughly. I can... right now I'm able to eat just twice a day. Although that has been messing with my energy a little bit. Going from 3 to 4 meals a day and a ton of soda to 2 meals a day, sometimes less, and replacing almost all of the soda with fruit and vegetables. That's been pretty rough, but it's getting a little bit easier. But sorry, that went a little off where I wanted to go with that. So yeah, I'm at Amazon. I get an education credit from them, and it's a pretty significant amount for where I can use it at. And so I'm going to go use it. Possibly this fall is what I'm kind of leaning towards. I could start earlier than that, but I'd really like to get all of my main habits switched, all of my bad habits switched to better habits, and be consistent with that for at least a couple of months before I go back to school, which is basically the place where I almost killed myself. Not intentionally, but I was just eating super poorly. I was eating Taco Bell, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, pretty much anything fast food, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I was also drinking. I had my morning Mountain Dew. Pretty sure I had an afternoon Mountain Dew. And then I would do usually 2 like extra large sodas from the gas station every single day. So, how I didn't get diabetes, how I didn't die from that. Only God knows that. But, in the last few years, I've learned how to transform some of that stuff. I haven't been consistent with things because I've been testing a lot of things. But I have a pretty good idea of the exact things I need to be doing, and I just keep not doing that because it's more comfortable to do what I'm familiar with rather than what I am unfamiliar with. So that's been my main difficulty now. That's why I don't upload consistently. I have these little phases where I'm like, man, I really got to upload a whole bunch of crap. So I upload a whole bunch of crap. I'm like, the way I'm doing it, I just don't like it that much. I don't like the way I'm doing it. It feels too robotic. So yeah, I've just been playing around with a bunch of stuff. I started playing video games again, and I'm just trying to get all those things in order. So I do have a hierarchy of the things that I should be doing. It starts with moving, so physical activity. I really need to be waking up in the morning, going for at least a 30-minute walk around the neighborhood. I would like to do it in shorts and a tank top, but if I need to have one layer be longer, so maybe I'll wear regular pants, full leg pants and a t-shirt, or long sleeve shirt and shorts. I can do that. My legs usually stay warmer. My arms are pretty warm, but my hands get really cold. So sometimes I like to have a long sleeve shirt to stick my hand in. But the walk is really important for me, and I keep not doing it because once I like get real into it, and I know I'm going to keep doing it, and it's going to change a lot of things. And the part of me that's still stuck on all the bad crap that I do wants to keep doing that and feels like it's in danger of dying, which is basically what I'm trying to pretty much do. So I want to kill that part off of part of me off so that way I can focus on the things that I find important, that I think are necessary for where I want to be in the future. So the walk is super important. Next is eating mostly whole foods. And the reason is whole foods are closest to their natural biological state. The human body is essentially a bunch of cells, trillions of cells. And then within the various orifices, there are microorganisms that, depending on what's being consumed, what's passing through, it changes their, what would you call that? Their total identity, like what all of them are combined, their average identity, if you want to go with that. But the rates at which the good bacteria form, I've noticed, seem to assist with digestion and all sorts of stuff. I'm still getting used to thinking about things that way because I've always been a calorie or protein, carb, fat, but I just don't think those are complete enough to where I want to be. And so I found that eating these whole organisms, the orange, the apple, the celery, the carrot, even the perfectly cooked steak, if you want to call it that, partially raw on the inside, but well cooked on the outside. That seems to help me out a lot. Even like hard-boiled eggs helps out a lot. But those foods are really boring to me. I'm so used to eating extremely salty and sugar-filled foods. I probably consume about 400 or 500% of the daily recommended intake of added sugars, or at least I was. For the last maybe 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot better, and that's where most of my exhaustion has been from, is switching off of that much sugar, but it's getting easier. Sorry, this is all over the place, but I just kind of wanted to get this out. So minimally processed, more whole foods, that's what I want. Minimal additives also helps out a lot. I notice when I eat store-bought bread with all the additives, with all the phosphates, with all the conditioners and the rising agents and different things like that, it makes me feel off. It's like a disconnection, and I just want to lay down and do nothing all day. But when I eat even just homemade like bread that I make using yeast, salt, water, and a little sugar, just a little bit of added sugar just to get the yeast started, I don't notice any negative differences when I eat that. And then like when I eat meat, I don't really notice that difference unless it's like real bad quality meat. But even the store-bought meat, I don't really notice too much of a negative. If I eat a lot of it, I will. But if I just do little bites here and there, I totally feel fine with that. Although I do like the taste of the butcher shop meat a lot better. But yeah, so walking, very, very important to me. The food, obviously, based on the actions that I have taken, it doesn't seem important to me, but mentally it does really frustrate me that I do it. But I do have this issue where when I quit fast food cold turkey, I get shakes and I get like cravings that are so bad that I feel like I'm actually going to die. So I've slowly been easing off of it. I do eat out probably 4 or 5 times a week now. I limit it. I'm doing a lot better at limiting it to once a day. And then there are days where I don't eat out, and I struggle with that quite a bit. But I think once I get more into this and I start getting on a program, especially one that works really well for me, then that's going to help out a lot. So I still drink a lot of crap that I don't need to drink. So one thing I've been drinking right here, I have this like cran watermelon. I've just been sipping on it all day. So that's not as bad, but it's completely unnecessary. I don't need it. I can get everything that I want from that from an orange. Like I don't need that. it tastes fine, but I just don't eat it. Um, so yeah, walking, food, gym. I'm back on Silver Sneakers again. That's a little program that I get with this. It's a Humana plan. It's kind of like a Medicare Medicaid bundle, and basically, um, I have access to pretty much any chain gym in the country. And so I have one at Planet Fitness, and I have a membership at LA Fitness. At Planet Fitness, basically what I do, and I've been playing around with it more the last couple of weeks, is I go in, and my workout is usually 10 to 15 minutes. I take a resistance machine, typically either a leg machine or an upper body machine. So the last time I went, I did a lat machine where you take your arms, you have your chest forward, head up, and then you bring your elbows down and back. So I've been doing that. So I'll do 100 pounds, I'll do 12, then 80 pounds, I'll do 15, and then 60 pounds, I'll do 21, and then 40 pounds, I just kind of burn out. I just go till exhaustion, till failure. And then in between, during the breaks between each set, I'll do 10 squats and 3 fingertip push-ups, and then get right back on the machine. So my break is maybe 30 seconds, and then the machine time, it's like 30 seconds to a minute per set. So I'm done in like 10, 15 minutes, and I have a pretty good, well-rounded workout in. And then after that, I'll go onto the treadmill, walk for 5 minutes to just kind of walk it off. So I find that actually gets rid of immediate soreness, just completely. However, the one issue that I'm finding right now doing these sets is I have like 2 to 3 day delayed soreness. And so that's something I'm going to need to do something else for. I'm thinking yoga. Or just some sort of stretching routine or both. I think obviously yoga is really good for some things, but I have some stretches that aren't yoga that are really nice too. So I'll have to find a way to incorporate that in. I haven't written any of this stuff down yet, but I find the things that are important, I would just remember after forgetting for a little bit. So that's just something that I've been doing. I don't care if I forget it the first time, because if it's important, I'll remember it eventually again. And this keeps coming up. I'll forget it for like a couple weeks and I'll be like, oh shoot, I need to get back to that. So yeah. So gym, and then LA Fitness has a swimming pool and a sauna. Freaking love the sauna. And I love swimming, and I hadn't swam for a while, but because I'm on dialysis, all of my doctors put me in this fear state where it's like, oh my God, if you go into a swimming pool, you're going to get peritonitis and you're going to die from it. And it's just like too risky to do stuff like that. It's like, okay. But then I've had some people say, as long as you clean up afterwards and just make sure that any bacteria that might have got on to any exposed areas. So I have an exit site for a catheter. So if any bacteria gets on that, I just need to make sure I clean it properly. So I decided to try swimming. I'm like, dude, I want to swim so freaking bad. And so I just decided to try it. I had all these precautions. I used Gorilla Tape around my exit site with a big cotton or like a gauze, cotton gauze pad, just maybe like a 3-inch by 3-inch, sorry. And popped that on, put on the Gorilla Tape, and it made a complete seal so I didn't get any water in. But that was pretty crazy precautions. So over the years, I figured out that I don't actually have to take crazy precautions so long as I do the proper steps afterwards. And so I've actually gone swimming like 5 times last year before my Silver Sneakers membership expired. Apparently I did something wrong halfway through the year, and so I lost that. So I have to make sure to continue that. I have to talk to my guy for that. But so like today I just went swimming, did my thing, took a shower, and then did my exit site care. Usually they just say, oh, just do it once a day. But what I do is like, okay, well, I did something riskier, so let's clean it now. I just got out of the pool. Let's do it now. Clean it. And then a couple hours later, I'll do it again. And then a couple hours later, I'll do it again. So 3 times I've cleaned the exit site. And I just know that nothing bad's going to happen from that because I took good precautions. So, but yeah, so swimming, just want to do that. Man, this totally became a vent fest. Jeez, sorry. Don't mean to put that on you. But yeah, so swimming, sauna. Actually, when I was in Nebraska for graduate school, I was so unhealthy and stuff back then. That's where my health started really collapsing. I couldn't sweat, even being in a sauna for 20 minutes. I literally could not get sweat out. And so my body was so dehydrated that it was clinging onto the water as best as it could because it didn't want to get rid of it. And so now that I can sweat again, I take advantage of it. And I've actually found that eating right after work at Amazon, then going to the sauna, I get the best sweat. So that's, actually, no, I didn't eat first. I went to the sauna first. So go to the sauna first after work, then go eat. Now that's what I would like to do more. So, yeah, so that's the gym. And then there's 24-hour fitness. I'd like to go there. It's on the east side of town. So I'd like to check that out and see if maybe they have things there that I find better than other things, or just maybe being there. Maybe I can start taking the bus more, getting used to the bus riding and stuff. I plan on not driving anymore soon. It's been on my mind quite a bit for the last maybe 6 months. I really hate driving, and I'm not quite comfortable not driving just because 15 minutes versus an hour and a half to get to work, for example. That's a pretty big difference, but I have things that I can do. I have a Kindle subscription, the Kindle Unlimited, and I have an Audible subscription. So I thought that'd be a really good time to get some reading in. Just some nice fiction or something entertaining. So that way I can just keep my mind having a good time before work. And then I can turn my brain off while I'm lifting packages at Amazon. But yeah, so those are three. Those are the top three. Fourth is keeping my job. I think that really ties in with number one. I really want to stay at Amazon just because it's nice for me. It's been really good. Their scheduling is really awesome. The way they pay, or the rate they pay, is really good for what I'm doing. I'm literally just lifting boxes and I get $22 an hour. That's freaking awesome. Like doing fast food, it's like $16.50 in the area. So $22, I turn my brain off. I literally do the same task over and over again. Sometimes I don't even have to walk much. Like, it's crazy. So there are times where I do have to walk much, but it's just the same things. Repetition, going and grabbing a cart, bringing it to a person, going and grabbing a cart, taking it to a person, taking the empty cart, taking it to a different person, going so forth. So it's super nice. Turn my brain off, get some miles in. And so yeah, that's 4 and 1 also, but really I can work anywhere. I'm pretty adaptable. I can pretty much do anything now. So, and they're always hiring, at least temporarily, for all these shipping companies. So I could probably get a job at the post office for a little less, or FedEx, or I used to work at UPS. So I could probably get a job there again, but just maintaining a job really is number 4. Not like Amazon is still my number 1 place to work at, but yeah. So let's refresh that. So walking, number 1, 2, eating right, 3, gym, 4th one, work consistently, or at least just being employed or having some source of income, preferably a physical labor job, just because that seems to have helped me the most in the last few years, more than any doctor, more than any program anyone else has come up with. And then the next one after that is reading, writing, and speaking, kind of all in one, and uploading it to the internet. So that's why I've been uploading some things, but it's been pretty robotic how I've done it. I don't like that. I'd like to get more into it. It's kind of hard to do that reading things in a chronological order. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to split things up just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. But I'm pretty much at a point where I can start that anytime now. I just haven't because there's still some other things that I'd like to get in. One of them, movies and TV. I used to watch movies and TV purely for entertainment, but now I get a lot of learning out of it too. I try to imagine where they got these ideas from, especially if the ideas may have been contemporary. So if you look at like Star Trek, the original series, and even the Next Generation and all of the other ones, you'll find that there are either historical connections, so times in history. So like Star Trek, the old series actually did an episode where they went to a planet and there was a bunch of Nazis. And so that was kind of interesting. But then you get other ones like a society, Stargate did this one too. A society becomes so reliant on an AI program that they completely forget how anything before the AI program works. So the AI programs end up malfunctioning. And so like in Stargate SG-1, the AI program had to allocate energy to a force field on a toxic planet in order to keep these people safe. But the AI was integrated into their heads and was telling people, shoot, the power is going to go down. In order to save the bulk of society, we need to sacrifice. And so it'll send one of the people, it'll program the person, it'll be like, hey, time to update. You need to go outside. Outside's fun. Outside's good. And then they would go outside and then they would die. They would suffocate. And then the force field would collapse. It would keep shrinking and shrinking. And so like those kinds of shows, those kinds of movies have been really cool to me. I've really liked it. I love metaphor, and TV shows and movies are basically like, in my opinion, one of the most perfect ways to represent metaphor using the visual and audio senses. So, movies and TV, and then there's also video games. I'm really interested in loops, and especially loops that I can do in a shorter period of time, maybe like less than an hour. And so I've got a bunch of games that I have installed onto my computer. One of them, Arma 2, it has a little training program in it. And so I'd like to do that as part of it. And then there is Schedule 1. And that's like a drug making and selling one. So I'd like to do that a little bit. Slay the Spire. It's a roguelite card playing game. So I'd like to do that one. Megabonk, Loop Hero, The King is Watching, Vampire Survivors, Everspace, and Risk of Ruin 2 are all of those games. So those are more of the loop games that I want to play. And then I'm also interested in creating things. So the games I'd like to play for that, I have Factorio, I have Minecraft, I have Valheim, I have Sons of the Forest, I have Project Zomboid, and No Man's Sky. And then some of the other honorable mentions, these games are just kind of like games that I want to play on and off. We have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Far Cry, Dragon Age Origins, Songs of Conquest, Blasphemous, Terraria. That's also a crafting game, but I put it in with this kind of more optional games because it's something I don't really care to play a lot. But I do want to play a little bit of it because it's got good ratings and my brother used to play it a lot. Deus Ex games. I don't know if I said this one. Borderlands 2, Kenshi, Dwarf Fortress, Knights of the Old Republic, and a few other Star Wars games. A few Sid Meier's games. Saints Row 2. There's also World of Warcraft. I had a project I want to do with that one, but that's something that might be in the future. Besiege also seemed pretty cool. Some Baldur's Gates games, 1 and 2. And then I think that's it for... Oh, and then I have a few games on the Xbox app. One of them is like Star Trucker or something. One of them was a farming simulator. One of them was Rogue Trader, Warhammer 40K. One of them was the Galactic. Let's open up the Xbox app real quick. Deep Rock Galactic, that's right. And then another one's going to be that Claire 33, or I forgot what that game was called. But that one seems pretty good too. Oh, and also the Halo Master Chief Collection. Okay, that's also Loop Gaming. That's going to go with that one because that's really important to me too, because I played a lot of that when I was a kid. So I'd like to do that. And then I think the original Fallout, the first one. Let's see, library. What else? Play history. Play later. No. Install my games. Oh yeah, my games. Game Pass. Pillars of Eternity and Elder Scrolls Redguard. Redguard seemed really cool, and it's with Game Pass, so I do the PC Game Pass just because I know a lot of people have been saying it's gotten too expensive, so there's been a boycott, but I find it's worth it for me, so I'm still subscribed to that. Let's pop that over. Yeah. So, and then eventually, like all the readings and stuff, I'd like to do an analysis of and other things. So, there's also language learning and other things that are on there on the list of things that I want to do. But really, the order of things that I'm most interested in. Number one, movement, especially endurance movement, even endurance assisted resistance movement. So another thing I'll do at the gym is I will do 10 or 20 pounds on a resistance machine and do it 250 to 500 times and just kind of go like that. And the reason I do that partly is Amazon, because that's basically the same work I do. I typically work a job where I'm lifting 20 to 50 pound packages like 300 to 500 times throughout a 4-hour shift. Sometimes more. It just depends on how busy it is. Right now it's pretty light, but if I'm unloading the larger boxes from inbound, from where we get the boxes from the other facilities when they come into our facility, that I can do sometimes more than 1,000 in a shift, but it just depends. Like during the holidays, we had a lot less of those. A lot of the big packages were already prepackaged in these big carts, so we didn't have to remove a lot of them by hand. Man, this has definitely been a lot more kind of back and forth than I expected. Apologize for that. I don't like writing things down and speaking off of a piece of paper. I've always found that to be pretty cringe. So every time I watch politics, like if I watch a C-SPAN video just to see what they're saying, or like listening to Trump talk and stuff, it's just so easy to tell that everything is just so rehearsed. I hate rehearsed stuff. It's just, you're getting paid all this money and you're in charge of all this fancy stuff, and you can't even take time to speak from the heart or speak from the mind. Like, you have to speak from a piece of paper that probably someone else wrote. That really bothers me. And so I didn't want to do that for this. I just kind of wanted to go back and forth like my mind usually goes. However, when I get started on actually working on things, it'll be easier for me to stay focused. I can read typically an hour, 2 hours at a time if I really wanted to. I don't want to do that. So, but yeah, so the main things: walking, eating right, gym, work, and then reading and recording, getting all of that uploaded. I think that's the most important. And then maybe as I'm reading textbooks, I can also do the problems. I do have 2 different ways I can do it. I think the easiest way would just be to plug in my digital draw pad that I have with the stylus, and just have like the bulk of the screen be that, share that screen, and then either on my phone or on another laptop screen or computer screen, I can read. Or I can even, if I want to, I have a pair of glasses that transmits my phone screen to the lens, both the lenses. I used to watch a bunch of queso videos after I got off work with that. So that could be another thing I do. That could actually be really fun. So that's something I might try. I can change the screen opacity to be really, really like not transparent, to be pretty solid. So that way I can't see behind it, and then read off of that. And then maybe just kind of like have it kind of in forward so I can see the screen and stuff. But yeah, those are like my main things. My goal eventually is to get back into tutoring. And with Amazon, I get an education credit. So I'm actually thinking of going back to school. Found out my local community college that I have an associate's degree at has a bachelor's degree in computer science, which I think would complement my chemistry degree from the college I went to in northeastern Washington. I think that'd be really complimentary. So, and if Amazon's going to pay for the whole degree, then I might as well just do that. And so I thought that'd be fun using school. Once I start going back, I can start advertising myself as a tutor. I'm pretty decent at chemistry, pretty decent at math. I can do physics. I can do philosophy. I can do psychology. Actually, I'm not accredited from any university in like psychoanalysis, but I basically self-learned psychoanalysis, watching YouTube videos, listening to AI, pretending to be Carl Jung and stuff. And I've actually learned a lot from that and was able to overcome a lot of my own demons and a lot of my own, the things causing my depression and my anxieties and stuff. I've been able to get rid of a lot of that stuff. And so it's been like when I lost the bulk of my weight, I lost over 100 pounds eating only fast food 3 times a day and drinking soda multiple times a day. But because I had that positive mindset, I had this mindset that's like, this is so easy. Like, I just don't have to eat everything. I don't have to get the combo meal. I can just get a cheeseburger, 300 calories. I can just have a small Coke with a halfway filled with ice. So it's not as much Coke this time. And so I was able to do that, and I lost 100 pounds just eating fast food and stuff. Like, I processed food. It's crazy. Like everyone I've talked to about it, because I'd never really been open with it, but everyone who I've talked to about it, it's like, dude, that's insane that you can do that and have kidney failure and like be able to do all this stuff and like just not be dead every day. And it's like, well, I used to be dead every day, and then I started losing the weight and started moving more and started appreciating the littler things, started appreciating things that aren't made by people. And so, but, yeah, that's a lot of rambling. I think that's the title of this video. It's going to be Ramble, Ramble, Ramble. Ramble Fest. I guess I can also talk about now an idea. I don't like following exact directions because I'm not a robot. Like I have feelings and I like to express them. I don't like to just be like, oh, just fucking do it. Like that just doesn't really work for me. First I have to like it if I want to do it. There are a lot of things that I still don't like, that I don't like now, I guess, that I still do. But those are habits that I'm working on replacing with other habits that are better for me. So, like my soda habit, I drink much less soda and I eat a lot more fruit. Sometimes 2 to 3 fruits a day. But, like, I find that sometimes I really need the sugar. But eventually, as I start fasting more, I can use less. But the schedule that I'm thinking of doing is less based on timing and more based on just actually it's still timing, but it's relative timing. It's not based on the clock time. It's more based on when I wake up and then what's my first activity. First activity should be a walk. Should be 30 minutes, should be an hour or more if I can. If I'm feeling up to it, I'll go walk 2 hours. Like I'd rather do a 2 hour walk in the morning, get most of my walking for the day out of the way, get my metabolism like super boosted, and then maybe even take a cold shower after that to really just enhance everything, and then fast until maybe an hour before work, and then keep it minimal protein, maybe 2 eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and that'll just be for function. And then something sugary, so maybe an orange, an apple, and then during my work break at like 5 o'clock, have an orange or an apple. Yeah, so let's go back. Wake up, walk, delay eating as much as possible. I do like to skip breakfast. When I skip breakfast, usually my day, even if I have a really bad lunch and a really bad dinner, is usually not bad. It's usually decent. If I don't eat the bad at night after work, and I eat just the bad at lunch, I don't feel bad at all throughout the day. I just have a little like, ooh, that was a lot of food right before work, and then I go to work, and then I'm like, man, I'm hungry. So, yeah, walk. And then I'd also like to include the gym before work as well. Getting a resistance exercise in before eating, I think, is really important. So, and I can describe that more in detail later. The reason why I do that. I think it works really well. But yeah. So, walk, gym, eat at some point. And then if I have time before I do my midday dialysis, maybe get some reading in, some technical reading. So textbook stuff. We'll call it like day class or something. Maybe that'll be my OpenStax. So there's a website called openstax.org. That's what I've been reading a lot of that's where the recent contemporary math textbook that I've been reading from, that's where that comes from. So, maybe do OpenStax then, and then do Libre Texts or Libre Office. I forget what the Libre Libraries, I forget what it's called. It's a whole bunch of books, though. And then start reading some books off of that one, too. But I should be doing at least 2 technical readings a day. I shouldn't do it based on... Yeah, maybe I'll do the relative stuff afterwards. I need to figure out what all I want to do each day, though. So... Sorry. This is all brainstorming. That's what I should call it. I should call this Brainstorm Sesh / Ramble Sesh. Ramble style brainstorming. Okay, sorry. So the things that I want to do. 4 laps around my neighborhood, doing the L shape. And then the L shape that I do, it's a short leg and a long leg. The short leg takes me, I think, 7 to 10 minutes. And then the long leg takes me around 15 to 20 minutes. So it ends up being around a 30-minute walk each lap. And so I actually did some shorts recently of me, just the transitions that I do during the walk. So I don't record the straightaways. Anytime I change a direction, that's when I record. And so there's a lot that I can do with that. I plan on actually... Gosh, I get so distracted with that stuff. Not going to talk about that yet. Let's stay focused. Yeah, so, I walked a short leg. I walk to the end of the street, get to the stop sign. There's a main road across. Walk back to an intersection right past my house. Turn left. Walk all the way down the road to the stop sign to the main road that cuts between 2 different neighborhoods. And then across. Walk back. And then once I get back to that intersection that connects the short and the long legs, then I walk back to my house, and that's 1 lap. And then, I want to do 4 of those. That's really what I want to do each day. So we're talking around 2 hours every day, based on just my average walk speed and stuff. So 4 laps, preferably separated. So like 1 in the morning when I wake up, 1 prior to work, 1 after work, 1 prior to bed, I think is the best way to do it. but I don't have to do it that way. Like if I feel like I really would rather do more reading at night or more video games or something, maybe I'll do more of my walks. Maybe I'll do 2 laps. I'll do an hour of it in the morning and then an hour of it before work or something. So that way I don't have to do it later. But separating it, I think, is more effective. It's less stress. It's more stress separated over a longer period of time versus more stress over a shorter period. I would just need more recovery time if I did it all at once. So, but I don't really need a lot of recovery, so that's pretty nice. Usually, one like 3 to 4 hour nap with REM sleep. So I tell how to do. I tell how I enter REM sleep just by the dreams that I have. If I remember I'm dreaming, then I had good REM sleep. So, and I usually remember good portions of my dreams, or at least little tidbits. I mostly remember my feelings that I have. So as long as I have that, that's good. So 2 hours of walking outdoors, and then maybe 1 to 2 workouts a day at the gym, preferably the LA Fitness in the morning. Do a swim and sauna session. That's sort of my main thing. But if I want to do a little bit more, I totally can. I'd like to limit it to maybe 30 minutes. However, an hour is also fine if I decide to lift some weights or something, or do some cardio, or do one of the classes upstairs. So that's totally fine. But I'd say 30 minutes as a minimum. That's about 15 minutes sauna, 10 minutes swimming, 5 minutes hot tub, and then done. Clean my exit site, take a shower, all that good stuff. So I should write this down, actually. Let's do that. Give me 1 second. Wow, 41 minutes of rambling. That's crazy. Granted, I used to be a crazy talker. I used to talk all the time. So I don't really talk a lot anymore. That's just a personal preference. I don't like to talk much. I'd rather listen if I can. But there's a time to talk. And this right now is it. While I am in the zone. So, I need a pen. Here's a pen. I need to clean this whole place up. Got a lot of clutter on the floor. Let's put that there. Okay. Let's pop this right here. I'm going to put this on my shirt. Microphone. Okay. So we're talking, let's just brainstorm. Okay, brainstorming. So we just said 4 laps. L-shaped. Okay, also, I'd like to do 1,000 squats. And we'll do, in the beginning, sets of 10. And that should make it pretty easy. L-shaped, separated. 4 times. And then 100 fingertip push-ups. Sets of 5. Because 10 is a little too much right now, but 5, I don't have to engage my core too much. I do have a hernia, so that's why I don't want to engage my core too much right now. But 5 at a time seems to be totally fine. I would like to do 1,000, call it calf bounces. But really, it's just bending the ankles and minimal bend in the knees and bouncing. Typically, I would like to do it on concrete. That way I get the impact into my ankles and my knees. As I'd find that would probably strengthen it over time. So 1,000 of those on concrete. Sets of 100. That's 1,000. 100. What else? Let's do punches. So punches, basically. So what I do with my punches, I can do constant constant velocity, so constant speed. It's the same speed throughout the whole punch, and then I'm not really able to differentiate physically, like the feel between constant acceleration and, well, I guess constant acceleration could also imply this. In order to keep it moving forward, it has to keep accelerating. So, because resistance and all that good stuff. But also variable acceleration. I'm not good at telling the difference, but one of my favorite things to do, I just do this sporadically throughout the day, is I like to completely relax my arm, and then I put my focus into my hands. I want to move it forward, but I keep it fairly relaxed, and then I put a lot of my energy into my chest, this area of my arm and elbow, and push it forward. And I can accelerate it pretty quick. And I can get a good burn from that after like 20 to 30 reps of that. So let's do 1,000 punches, 1,000 jabs. Style punches. Each arm. Slow plus fast. So I'd say 1,000 each. So 1,000 of these, and then 1,000 of these. Let's see. Is there anything else? Any other things? I should do stretches. To do like stretches. Let's say static and dynamic. And we'll just say like 30 minutes. Okay. Doesn't seem like a lot. Oh, and then gym. Gym, we'll do one machine, resistance, gym, plus body resistance during break. Okay. $10 miles, stationary bike. The reason I want to do that is I had this idea that because I have a lot of endurance now, because I can walk like half marathons every day and such if I wanted to, I could potentially ride my bike to work. It's a 10-mile ride. I think I could do that every day, twice a day, so 20 miles a day biking. So I think that would be kind of fun to try. So, but I promised myself that I would do stationary bike at a gym first, 20 miles a day. So 10 miles before workout, 10 miles after my workout, pretending it was work. So 2x daily. So I think that would be a good, useful thing to do. 5 minutes stair machine. Yeah, I'd like to do that every day. 10 minutes swimming. No, let's do it laps. 10 laps. Doggy paddle or style. And then 15 minutes sauna. Okay, yeah, so that's like the daily stuff. Weekly, so that's daily. DAILY. And then the weekly stuff I'd like to do two forest walks per week. Yeah, and that would be really nice. I love nature. I love going out and seeing the trees and hearing running water, different things. And we have some really, really good trails here to walk and bike and hike. So, two forest walks I think is fine per week. Um, maybe one basketball practice. So at the gym, they actually have a basketball court. So I was thinking of buying a basketball, shooting some hoops. I thought that'd be kind of fun. I'd like to do some throwing practice. So maybe 3 throwing technique sessions. Man, I can't spell right now. There we go. 3 throwing technique sessions. So that includes like shot put. I have discus, so I can practice the two different motions for that. I could do drills to work on specific movements. I really need to get my right knee in better shape. So I think that would help with that. 3 throwing sessions. I thought about doing breathing sessions outside, just in the grass, barefoot. So I'll do like 3 barefoot breathing silent sessions. I think silence is important. I don't really get a lot of silence. I am usually listening to something throughout the day. Like right now, I have rain sounds on my phone playing in the background. So, so that's that. And I listen to music a lot. Video game soundtracks, especially older video games. Let's say what else? Weekly. Maybe cook. Yeah, I should do that. 3. Cook 3 times per week. And then play every game on the list once. And then 3 loop gaming sessions. 3 movies. And then 10 TV show episodes. Actually, we'll do 30, but at 3x speed. One of my hobbies is to watch things at 2 to 3 times fast forward speed. I'm still able to get most of the gist of what's going on in the show, but I don't remember little details, and it's really nice that way. That's basically how fast I think. So, excuse me. I like that. Yeah, so let's get a rough idea of how much time this will be, and then I'll finish off with something that I've written. Um, I wrote a letter to a professor at Clark College in Vancouver, Washington. I think that would be a good ending point for this. So, 4 laps, we're talking 30 minutes, or sorry, 2 hours per day. 1,000 squats, sets of 10. I can do 100 squats in less than 10 minutes. So we'll just say 10 minutes per 10. Sorry, 10 minutes per 100. So we'll say 100 minutes. Okay, let's rechange that. So this is 120 minutes per day. And then I said 100 minutes for the squats. So we're talking hour and 40 minutes. So 100 minutes per day. 100 fingertip push-ups. I could probably, what I'll do is for every 100 squats, I'll do 10 fingertip push-ups. And so I shouldn't expect that to add very much time. We'll just say that takes 20 minutes. So we'll say 20 minutes. And then 1,000 calf bounces on concrete, sets of 100. We'll say it'll take 1,000 seconds for that. So 1,000 divided by 60, 400, 6. So we're talking roughly a little over 16 minutes. 360, yeah. We'll say 17 minutes. We'll say 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And then jab style punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we'll do 1,000 of the slow speed, and we'll switch it to 100. I forgot. These things do burn quite a bit. So for every 100 regulars, I'll do 10. So we'll say it's a second each. So 400, so it's another 17. We'll say another 20 minutes. We'll say 30 minutes. This is just a guess for now. Once I start recording it, I'll have a better idea. 30 minutes of stretches, plus, we'll say 30 minutes. So we'll say 60 minutes per day for stretch and yoga. Machine gym, body resistance during breaks. So we'll say 30 minutes. We'll say roughly up to 60 minutes per day for the gyms. 10 miles of stationary bike. That's also going to be at the gym. I could probably do... I think I could probably do... Actually, let's YouTube this real quick. What does this look like? YouTube. 10 mph biking. Okay, I can probably go pretty quick. 10 miles, we'll say I go 20 miles an hour. So I should expect half an hour. So we'll say 1 hour, 60 minutes per day. I think I could do that. 5 minutes. And then 10 laps. Probably take me We'll say 20 minutes for swimming and 15 minutes. Okay, let's add these up. 120 plus 100 is 220, 240, 260, 290, 350, 410, 470, 475, 495, 510. 510 minutes with all of that. That's a lot of working out. Let's divide that. 510. We'll take that. We'll do multiply or divide by 60. That'll get us in hours. So it goes in 7 times, 8 times. Yeah, 8 times, 480. Cross that. Oh, no, 0. Cross that. 4, 1, 11 minus 8, 3. So 8 hours, and it looks like 30 minutes. 8.5. So we're talking 8.5 hours a day. That's a lot. That's actually a lot. Fuck. I don't know if I can do that. Especially with work. I probably can. I actually probably can. Fuck. That's the worst part. Shit. Give me a second to think about that. I wasn't expecting it to be that much. I was hoping to get it down to like 5. I wanted to keep everything down to 10 hours a day of physical activity, but I guess 8.5 is fine. I don't necessarily have to start with this. This can actually be the ideal. So the ideal should just be the start. I should at least do a quarter maybe of all of these, or a good portion of each of these. So yeah, we'll figure something out. Really, the main thing right now is the laps outside, the squats, the fingertip push-ups, the gym, and the swimming, and the sauna. I think those are like the main things that I want. So, yeah, so I guess I'll have to test those out. And then that's 8.5 hours a day. 8.5 times 7. So we're talking almost 60 hours a week. Okay, so let's have this be for my work days. So 6 days a week. And then my day off, I don't have to do this. I can take a break. I think that'd be really good. Yeah. Cool. Forest walks. I should dedicate at least an hour for that. Basketball practice. 15, 20 minutes. Throwing technique sessions. I think an hour would be good for each of those. Barefoot breathing sessions. I think 30 minutes at a time. 30 minutes. Hour. Cooking. That's probably about 30 minutes. I'm pretty simple when it comes to cooking. Every game on the list once. That, I have absolutely no idea how that's going to go. So when I build the schedule, then that'll be good. I'm going to lay down after this, and then when I get back up, I'll start putting together a mock schedule of what this might look like. I'll variate it. So I'll do like separate it as much as I want. So maximum separation versus maximum duration, maximum endurance for each one. So doing everything at once versus spreading it throughout the day. I'd like to incorporate both of those because there's different benefits to doing it that way. So, the game, every game on the list, we're probably talking 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe more. So I'll have to get into that. Movies, 3 movies. If I do watch it at normal speed, we're talking about 5-6 hours. But if I do fast forward it, which I probably will, 1.5 times speed is actually really nice for me. It's a really good sweet spot for me. So I can watch a movie in a little bit in 1.5 times less time. So if I have a 2-hour movie and I divide it by 1.5, 1.5, 1, 5, 0. 1.5 goes into that 3 times point. 1.3 hours. Sorry. I don't know. I've decimal and fraction. Yeah, dividing fractions, dividing decimals. Been a while since I've done that. Oh, I guess I could do this. I could do it with a fraction. So 1/5 is 3 halves. So I could do 3 halves times 2. And that cancels ball sack. Did I screw that up? Oh, I think I have that backwards. Sorry. I have that upside down. So we're dividing it, so I need to do it the other way. So if I divide 3 halves in 2, then it's the same as multiplying 2/3 in 2. So we get 4/3. Yeah, so yeah, 1.3 something. Yeah, so I did that correct. Yeah, cool. Sweetness. Yeah, so that's 4/3 hours. And then the 30 TV show episodes at 3 times speed, 45 minutes divided by 3, 15 minutes. 15 minutes times 30. Is 450 minutes, or 42, 6 times 7. So a little over 7 hours per week. That's pretty good, I think. So yeah, I could totally. It's totally a doable schedule. I hate it, but I love it, and I think it would be great. And this is the first time that I've actually made something like this and talked about it with somebody, or at least uploaded it for somebody to see. So let's go ahead and let's upload this, and then the next step is to start organizing specific activities relative to each other. So that's all I'll do for now. Sorry for the Ramble Fest. I'm still trying to figure this stuff out myself. I don't really have any idea how this is going to turn out, but I have a really good idea of how I'm going to feel if I can do all this, or when I can do all this. So, till next time. That's all I got.